My first ever Jabra IEM review, and what better place to start than the best they have to offer. Coming in at a whopping $230, this is the Jabra Elite 10, and it's kind of awesome. There's a lot of good things, there's a couple of not so good things, and we're going to cover all of it. First up, the case. It's small, it's light, it's pocketable, the dimensions are great. There's not much to talk about build quality per se, it's fine. Comes with USB-C and wireless charging though. It has two LEDs in the front, one for the case and one for the earbuds battery level. That's quite nifty. Now for me, what's particularly good is that this is really good for single-handed use, and that's not something I can say for all Bluetooth earbuds, and that really did come in handy for me. Inside you've got the earbuds, which are supremely comfortable, and they make a big deal out of this in their packaging material. They say they've tested it across thousands and thousands of years. I don't know about all that, but in my ears, they fit just fine. Coming in with 4 different types of ear tips, they should fit a wide number of ears. And if you don't like Bose's sort of wingtip style, this one does the same kind of fit and comfort and snugness without the wingtip. So that's awesome. Just bear in mind that if you're trying to replace the ear tips, the nozzle has this kind of proprietary triangular shape, so that might be a little bit difficult to find replacement ear tips for. Now the earbuds also have this soft touch silicone feel, which actually feels really nice, but so did my Samsung Galaxy Pro 2 case, and look what that looks like now. Hopefully this doesn't face the same fate. Now there is something I must mention: wind noise. When I'm out and about, even just walking, if it's a bit breezy, or if I'm running or on a bicycle, then wind noise is not something you can get away with, not even if you change noise cancelling modes. It's always there, and that's a little bit of a downside. In fact, it's a pretty big downside if you're outdoors and working out. But it does come with an IP57 rating, so at least you won't lose it to water damage, short of actually going for a swim with it. And I know that firsthand, because after years of losing earbuds over and over again while I go for a swim, I find it's easier just to hire a live band next to the swimming pool, like everyone in Dubai does. Next thing is actually pairing it and getting it to work with your phones. It is seamless. Pairing is instantaneous. It's got fast pairing for Android and swift pairing for Microsoft. Basically, it pairs really quick to everything, and it's got multi-point for up to 2 devices across any ecosystem, and it switches seamlessly. Now, when you pair it, you'll want to install the Jabra Sound Plus app, which is actually quite cool. It's really well laid out, and the home screen is full of features that we can only talk about if we're discussing sound quality. So we'll get to that in the next section. But what I really want to talk about is the feature set, and all of that is hidden in that settings cog in the top right corner. Once you get in there, Jabra's kind of gone ham on this. Where Apple and Bose might go for minimalist and restrained, Jabra has decided to just throw everything they have at you. But unlike Sony, which in my opinion is packed full of features that are not necessarily really adding value to your usage, Jabra has done some really intelligent stuff. You can tell they've actually put thought into their feature set, and they have this thing of combining 2 features to create some very real functionality. For example, you can actually combine the hear through mode or the transparency mode with muting your audio, meaning every time you go into hear through mode, it automatically pauses your music. That's an instant conversation mode. Unlike Sony, where you have to touch and hold for a second or two and then it goes into transparency and you have to keep holding it, it's pretty smart that they've just combined 2 functionalities together, giving you the option of actually having them combined and creating actual functionality. Here's another example. If you're on a call, taking your earbuds out, you've got to take both of them out, not just one, will automatically mute your microphone. And this happens on a hardware level. So on your call, it won't show that your microphone is muted, but on testing, I can confirm that your microphone does mute in the earbud itself. This is really cool on a Zoom call if you just need to quickly talk to your kids who just walked into the room or something like that. Again, just combining 2 different functionalities together to create real usable features. Now, if you don't want to do it that way, you can simply mute your microphone by assigning it to a certain gesture. And while you're on mute, you can have your app play a tone through your earbuds every now and then to tell you that you're on mute. So you won't be wondering why no one on the call is paying any attention to you. Unless, of course, no one on the call is actually paying attention to you, in which case. Which brings me to the touch controls. This is particularly awesome in my opinion, because after having spent so much time with so many other earbuds in the market that just don't get it right, this is fantastic. Okay, I said touch controls, I meant tap controls because there's just physical buttons here. That's it. There's no touch controls, only a physical button with nice physical button feedback. I love it. One downside is you don't have any volume controls of any sort on the earbud itself. You have to resort to your phone or your laptop for volume controls, but other than that, this is the most customizable set of controls I have seen on a earbud, period. And what's more, they've even organized it in a really useful way in the app. So there's 3 tabs, right? One is if you're playing media, what do you want your controls to do? 2, if you're getting an incoming phone call or some kind of incoming call, what do you want your controls to do? And 3, if you're already on a call of some sort, what do you want your controls to do? You can literally go into each of these tabs and customize the functionality exactly the way you want it. Every function can be assigned to every gesture. It's brilliant, and I have no idea why other brands can't do this. This is fantastic. Not nearly as cool as my YouTube members actually winning giveaways. Shout out to Mechanismo and Shady, first of all, for your support. Second, you've just won a The Audio Ghost pair of headphones and a Tin Hi-Fi T4 Plus pair of IEMs. Fantastic audio equipment. I love them. You deserve them. Thank you for your support. And if you're wondering when this giveaway was announced, it's for YouTube members. If you're a YouTube member of this channel for a while, then you automatically get enrolled into giveaways. The next one is at the end of the year, so you might want to become a member. It's only $1 or $3 a month depending on which tier. Consider it and win things. Speaking of cool shit, it's time. It's time to talk about sound quality. This is a Bluetooth IEM after all. Let's stop faffing about, right? First things first, the mic quality. So this is me using the Jabra Elite 10 and you're listening to the microphone. Now this is relatively quiet conditions. I'm going to wait for some more traffic to come by so it gets a little bit busier, a little bit more noisy. And this is, well, the same place, but as you can see, the traffic has picked up. I'm speaking in a very normal voice. That's how I would speak on a phone call. This is Jabra Elite 10 with a lot of traffic noise. Now, if I speak up, it sounds like this, but if I speak normally, hey, how's it going? How are you today? It sounds like this. What do you think? Is it good? Is it bad? Is my voice getting over digitized, but is it coming through clearly? What's it doing? You should go check out my Bose and Sony reviews and check out those mic quality tests because there is a difference, I feel. Now, I don't know about you, but I think this did significantly better than pretty much anything else or almost anything else in this price category. And this is exciting because I've been dealing with really high-end IEMs that are just not cutting the mustard when it comes to microphone quality. But how does this translate to sound quality, active noise cancellation, and transparency mode? Let's find out. First up, active noise cancellation. Now for my regular viewers, you already know that I measure active noise cancelling performance and I publish it on this website here. Remember, all my measurements are only valid between 100 Hz and 6 or 7 kHz. Beyond that, my measuring equipment just doesn't do the job. Now, generally speaking, on those graphs, lower is better. If something measures consistently lower than something else, it means it performs better. It cancels out more noise. The Jabra is a mixed bag though, because in the low frequencies, it actually does really well. It's one of the best I have ever heard. But in the mids and the highs, there are places where it does well, but there are places where it lets in significant noise, so much so that the effect is spoiled and it doesn't really feel like it's cancelling enough noise, even though it is in certain frequencies. So if you're sitting in a cafeteria, somewhere where there's wide spectrum noise, both low frequency and high frequency, from the air conditioning, from people, from utensils clanging about, that sort of thing, then it will sound like this is not very good. If you're sitting on a bus though, this thing sounds amazing. So it is a mixed bag, and overall I have to say that the end result is only an average level of noise cancelling, and that Jabra needs to work on certain frequency ranges a little bit more to compete with the big boys. It is still, however, significantly better than a lot of other IEMs in certain scenarios. Which brings us to transparency, or hear-through mode as they call it. It's okay. It's not the best I've seen, but it's certainly not the worst I've seen. It doesn't disproportionately boost certain frequencies to the point where it gets jarring. It's pretty decent, but not the best on the market. That distinction still goes to Apple and Bose. Now, sound quality is where I'm really scratching my head, because here's the thing. It is weird as heck. To the audiophile in me, the tuning is just weird. Now, it has a very bass boosted sound, which is what people want, of course, but it's also got an unnaturally treble boosted sound. Not just to balance out the bass, it just becomes too much. Honestly, there's no other way to say it. It's just way too much treble beyond 4-5 kHz. The mids sound weird because there's this odd dip where there shouldn't be one, and it sounds recessed, and it's just overall really weird. And this is not just me being an audiophile. I suspect a lot of people will think it's just okay because they'll play their hip-hop tracks while they're working out and it'll sound punchy and fun, and that's great. But I have to look at it from a more holistic point of view, and the sound quality is just not that great. For a company that's been dealing with sound for a while, they should know by now how to tune things better. I mean, all you have to do is watch a bunch of these YouTube videos and subscribe to this channel to figure this out. It's not that hard. And yet, it seems to be. Now, there's an onboard EQ in the app on the home screen, but it just doesn't have enough control to actually fix the issues. The best advice I can give you is try and follow this EQ, at least to tame that treble a bit, and that's pretty much all I can do. I would also reduce the bass a bit, but overall, there's no saving this unless you use an external EQ. And if you want to, join the Discord and I will publish an external EQ that you can load into something like Wavelet, and that should, fingers crossed, help matters significantly. But out of the box, even with the EQ, even with the EQ presets, this thing sounds really odd. Now, as far as sound quality is concerned, it also offers you Dolby Atmos immersive audio, which, despite its name, is nothing like Dolby Atmos. Please don't expect some kind of 9.1.2 surround experience. It's not that. What it is basically a manipulation of frequency response and phasing to make it feel a little more immersive, and it does that, to be fair. What it also does is head tracking, which I really don't see the point of, but it has it, and it is actually pretty responsive, unlike Sony's implementation, which is not that responsive at all, or even Bose's implementation. This thing actually tracks your head a little bit faster, feels a little more seamless, but ultimately it seems kind of pointless to me. It's there if you want it. Overall, I'd say sound quality is middling at best, and they could have done a lot better. And battery life, well, most earbuds perform within sort of 80 to 100% of what they advertise, and Jabra's no exception. So, is the Jabra Elite 10 worth the $230 asking price? Well, despite the fact that I don't think the sound quality is the best, in fact it's really bad, I think most people will just say, okay, this is a fun sound, I don't mind it, this is good. Noise cancelling is also similarly average. It's really good for certain scenarios, but it's really not great for others, so I'm just going to call it average. Despite which, I think there's a very real value proposition here. It fits great in the pocket, it fits great in the ear, it's fit, it's snug, it comes with an IP57 rating, and that, combined with the fact that it doesn't have the wingtip, means that this is going to work for a lot of people in a lot of different situations. Combine that with all the little very well thought out combination of features that actually deliver value, plus the fact that it's got multi-point, it seems to be made with productivity use cases in mind, and seemingly unlimited customizability with the tap controls, makes this a genuinely fantastic earbud for a wide number of scenarios. Now, the cherry on top, and the very important cherry I must say, is the mic quality. This is probably one of the best microphones I have had the pleasure of testing in actual noisy scenarios, and that puts this way ahead of so many other offerings in the $200-300 price category that are just not cutting the mustard. And that makes this a pretty darn good offering at $230. If you happen to get this at discount under $200 in the future, it's going to be hard to beat the value proposition here, which is not what I can say for everything in this price category. Just check out my Bose and Sony earbuds. Here, you know what? I'll leave the links up here. You can go check them out yourself, and I'll see you in those videos. Stay happy, stay peaceful, stay colorful. Namaste.